Shavasana. If you have a bolster, you can lay on that, but otherwise just lay flat. Turn your palms up. And let's just tune into the breathing first. So inhale, draw the air in through the nose. And slowly out through the mouth, like an inner sigh of relief. Feel those exhales have this energy of decompressing you. Even if you're already really relaxed, there's always a deeper place to go. Letting the face relax, including the forehead, the temples, the jaw. Before we start moving, just take your attention inward now and set up a friendly, calm environment inside. Just maybe set an intention of peace or patience or whatever works for you today. Health and wellness always work. One more. Now slide your arms out to the side, step your feet onto your mat, a little wider than your hips, and begin to drop the knees side to side into windshield wipers. You can either take several more breaths where you exhale through the mouth or switch to our yoga breathing through the nose. Next time you drop to the left, pause there and cross your left ankle on top of the right thigh. Turn your head to the right and take a few breaths or even groans if you're really tight there. Good. Unwind and drop both knees over to the right. Maybe now cross the right ankle on top of the left outer thigh. Head turns left. All right, come back to center. Let's step the feet hip width now, cross your right ankle over the left thigh. Take a moment and just take your right hand or even take a block into your right hand and press that right knee away from you. Put some strength in that. So if you want, the objective today is to press the knee away from you, but if you want to go deeper, pull your left knee into your chest and rotate the right hip outward so you still get that external rotation, and breathe, opening that hip. Good. Now grab your belt and put it around your right foot. Extend that right leg to the ceiling and slide your left leg flat. Work your hamstrings in your preferred way. Grab your belt with your right hand and lower that leg over to the right, as far over as comfortable. Head can turn left once more. On your next in-breath, bring that leg up. Switch hands and draw the leg across the body to the left, again as far as desired. Bring that right leg up again and lower it down. Good, step both feet on the ground, left ankle crosses over the right thigh, and in your own way again, press that left knee away. Keep your shoulders relaxed, the neck relaxed. Good, grab your belt, put it around the foot and extend left leg up, right leg to the floor. If your mind starts wandering off, make your breathing a little louder. So it is your guide in staying present. Good, lower the leg left and turn your head right. Bring the leg up and draw it across to the right. Bring it back up. Good. And let's lower both legs down and let's go into, so you're lying flat. If you were on a bolster or anything, lie flat at this point. Step your feet up on the mat and let's lift up into a bridge pose. So lift all the way up to bridge. Press your glutes up. Make sure you don't shrug your shoulders. Now step your left foot into the midline of the mat and extend your right leg to the ceiling, still in bridge. Press your glutes up, keep your hips fairly squared here, and switch legs. Left leg up. Good, left foot down, lower the hips down, and drop your knees apart, soles of the feet connect. And let's grab our belt once more, hold it the width that you want. Be careful if you have shoulder issues, you might want to just even skip this one. And we're going to extend overhead, maybe soft elbows here. Couple more. Good. Now let's release that belt to the side. Grab one of your blocks, put it between your inner thighs. Stepping the feet right under the knees. Good, so your spine is flat on the floor. Option 1, keep your feet on the floor. Option 2, bring both of the shins parallel to the earth, but make sure that none of your back is arching off the floor. So drive your front ribs into the body. So figure out your foot position, and now very lightly clasp your hands around the back of your head. Keep an open throat, so don't tuck your chin in too much. And on an exhale, just lift your head and chest, head and shoulders off the ground just slightly. That's home base. Now, as you squeeze that block, I want you 15 times to do tiny, tiny crunches. 2, 3, never go all the way down so your abs relax. 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe push the exhale out as you come up. That's about 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Good. Lower down. One more time. Let's go into Baddha Supta Konasana. Soles of the feet touch, knees wide. And if you want to add a couple snow angels here with your arms only, go for it as you breathe. Great. Let's roll over to one side and come up to a seated position. So we'll go into our cross-legged pose, right shin in front of left. Take your hands onto your knees. Just gently pull on your knees so it pulls your chest forward and your shoulder blades down the back. Let your head just float on the neck. Teeth together. And inhale, lift your chin up high. Exhale, tuck it in. Just one more time. Inhale up. Exhale, tuck. Good. Head to neutral. And let's go into a twist. Left hand on right knee, right hand behind you. Look far over the right shoulder. Turn your chest right, but don't crank your spine into a twist here. It's more about a tall position and just awakening everything around the spine. Breathe. Good. Look forward. Take your right hand to the back, to the nape of your neck. Your left hand is still holding that right knee, and side bend to the left. Right? So we have a slight twist to the right in our torso, but we're side bending left. I'm doing this pose on the camera if you're not sure what it is. Good. Unwind back to center. Roll the shoulders and extend that right leg out to the right. Bend your knee a little. This is about your core and your back. Lock your fingers into like a basket here. Arms up. Tuck your chin up. Pull your chest in. The front ribs in. Round your upper back and bring your forehead down to that knee. Breathe one more breath into your upper mid back. Good. And let's roll up into wild thing. Sweep that right leg behind you. Stay down on your shins. Left hand as a kickstand and lift your hips up. Good. When you're done, come down. And let's take our legs out in front of us and just shake it out for a moment. Good. Slide your feet a tiny bit wider and just rotate your thighs in and out. Thighs rotate in and out. And if you just joined us, if you could kindly put yourself on mute. All right, coming into cross-legged, left shin in front of right. Roll the shoulders 3-4 times in each direction. Good. And before we go into the twist, I want you to reach your arms out to the sides and flex your wrists. Feel like you're pushing a wall away on either side. No tension in your shoulders, shoulder blades relaxed, and then make circles like you're polishing something. Keep those wrists flexed. You should feel a nice wrist stretch and maybe all the way up the arm. Good. Reverse, keep flexing, keep your elbows straight. You don't have to be giant circles. Small circles work actually better to stretch this. Good. Pause, interlock your hands in front of you. Rotate wrists inside out and arms to the ceiling and just sway side to side. Good. This time we're going to fold forward for a moment. Fold in. Feel free if you want to walk your hands to one side, go forward. And the other side. Good. Eventually back to center and up to a seated position. Shoulders over hips, and let's take it to the left. Twist left, so with your right hand on the opposite knee, look over the left shoulder. Good, now look forward. Take your left hand to the nape of your neck, so your elbow is lifting up, and side bend to the right. Come back to center, release your arms. Left leg extends left with a bend in that knee. Again, clasp your hands, extend them overhead, inhale. Tuck your chin, draw your chest in, so hollow out your chest and rotate. Bring your forehead down to the knee. Hands maybe hook over the foot or just grab the ankle. Send your breath into the back of your lungs. Brace your core. Inhale, let's rise up. Arms release down, and we'll go finish the sequence with wild thing. Left foot behind, right hand behind, and lift your hips up. Good. Release. All right, this time we'll come right over to all fours. Spread your hands, your fingers. Feel like you're really plugging in your finger pads. And let's go into arching rounding. Exhale, puff up your back, tuck your chin and tail. Inhale, arch, stretch the belly open, lift the chin. Do several more. Good, neutral spine. Brace the stomach. And stretch your right leg back and maybe left arm forward. Good, if you have, keep balance and strength. 5 times, pull knee and elbow together. 1. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good. Release that right knee down briefly, but then step your left foot between your hands into a lunge and take your hands to your front thigh. Just going to adjust this camera. So make sure, let me see, I think someone might not be on. I see, I was made the host. All right, so let me mute everyone right now because I'm the host now. Okay, so we are still in that low lunge. Right foot is forward. Press your left chin down and really get into that left hip flexor here. Those of you who want, you can tuck your back toes and lift up into a full lunge and extend your arms. Otherwise, you're here. 2 more breaths. All right, and let's move it into a downward facing dog. So a lot of today's class I will instruct verbally. Plant your hands, tuck your toes, and go into downward facing dog now. Treading your feet. And remembering down that it's important your tail doesn't tuck under. So bend your knees a little so you can really stick your sitting bones up to the ceiling. And press your right heel down, then your left heel as you breathe. All right, from your Down dog. Let's shift forward into a plank position. Make sure your hips don't sag down. So squeeze your glutes, squeeze your core in, and you're in full plank pose. Feeling a sense of length through your heels and then forward through your breastbone. Good job from your plank. Let's lower to the knees and bending your elbows backwards, lower down to the belly. You're lying flat on your belly now. And let's take the arms down by the sides, forehead or chin on the mat. And just give yourself a moment to relax into the floor. Let go of all the muscles. Good, now let's charge up the legs, engage your quads, hamstrings, glutes, and on an inhale, just peel your head and chest off the ground. I want you to not bubble your butt up. I want you to press your front hip points into the ground. So all that's lifted is your head and some of the chest. Those of you who are flexible and would like to stretch your shoulders, interlock your hands behind your back. Lift the chin and let's take another deep breath here, firming those legs. Good, release back down. All right, so from here you can keep laying on the belly or you can turn over to your right side, but we're all going to grab the left ankle. So you're belly down on the side like me and grab your left ankle. Feel the quad unwind and breathe. Good, let's switch to the other leg. Release and press back into your child's pose. Please follow my verbal cues. Take 2 more breaths in child's pose. Good, and we'll come back to all fours when you're ready. So work at your own pace here. And I know some of you have vinyasas, just put those in where they're appropriate. So on all fours, take the sway out of your back, especially your mid back, and stretch your left leg back. Right arm forward. Find your midline, that's your balance from tail to crown. And if you feel very balanced today, 5 times pull knee and elbow toward each other. 1. Exhale, 2. 3. 4. And 5. Good, set the hand down and step your left foot between your hands. Put hands on the front thigh and sink your hips forward. Make sure you don't let your pelvis tilt back too much. Draw your belly in and drive your tailbone down and sink your hips forward. I know some of you probably tap the toes and lifted the back knee. Go for it. Excuse me, go for it. And if you do that, raise your arms. 2, couple more breaths. Good, everyone, release your hands down. Take it to downward facing dog. 1 more time. I'll take it to puppy pose here. And from here, walk your either feet to hands or hands to feet. And you'll end up in a standing forward bend. And please pay attention, just bend your knees at first. You don't have to jam your legs straight. We'll do plenty of stretches for the hamstrings. So just hang out in your forward bend, feet hip width apart, maybe grab opposite elbow, and think of dropping your chest. Think of hinging in the hip creases so you don't hinge from your waist. The waist is higher, right? We want to hinge low where we actually have joints. Take 1 more breath. Good, let's open that body more. Brace your core and come rolling up to a standing position. Once you're standing upright, just swing your arms side to side. Good, and pause. Now, step your feet so you can be at the front portion of your mat, facing the small edge of your mat, so you have the whole mat behind you. Let's step the legs together or close together and interlock your hands into a steeple hand grip, which means your index fingers are extended, the other fingers are clasped. Now, raise your arms up above your head. If this feels really tight on your shoulders, please just take your belt and raise your arms that way. Wherever you are, let the shoulder blades relax at the neck and side bend over to the right. So almost feel like the low body shifts left a little, so you have that liberty of going as far right as you can. Squeezing the inner thighs if your legs are together. Good, inhale back to center and side bend left. Exhale, lower body shifts right a little. Come back to center. Take your hands like the palms flat, fingertips down to the small of your back or lower onto your pelvis. Think chest opener. So I want you to take your elbows and draw them back like someone's pulling them together behind you. Lift your chin, open your throat, and just lean back just a little. Imagine there's a really soft spot behind your heart and you're leaning back. Deep breath under the collarbones. Good, and come back to neutral. Sweep the arms out and up. Inhale, let's finish the cycle. Hinge at the hips, swan dive forward, forward bend. Your choice, just hang out in forward bend, or if your fingertips are touching the floor, bend and straighten your knees several times so you can squat all the way down, lifting your heels a bit. And if you feel like this is bothering your knees, you wouldn't go there. Bend and straighten your knees a couple times more. Good. Either come back up to standing, depending on your flexibility today, or step your left foot back and let's come into a warrior one. Everyone, arms sweep up. Warrior one, right foot is forward, left foot is back with the heel turned in. Rotate your triceps forward, right? Like you're corkscrewing your arms, like almost like you want to rotate your palms to the back of the room. That will take it out of the neck and then make your shoulder blades heavy. Breathe. Warrior one, super strong back leg, so that left inner thigh is pressing back. Good, now open up into warrior two. Take your arms parallel. Hands can be a tiny bit higher than your shoulders if you want. And let's widen the stance on your mat. So your right knee is still bending, your left heel turned back a little, and you're now facing the wide side of your mat. Take your gaze over the right hand. Maybe get some firmness in your triceps here. Softness in your front ribs as you breathe. Good job. Now straighten both legs. Turn your feet parallel with each other and take your hands at the hips. So we have two straight legs. We're facing the side of the mat. Inhale, stretch up and back. Exhale, fold forward and down. Take your hands on the floor. They go there. You always have a block if you want to just put your hands on a block. Good, just to warm up, let's slightly turn out the feet so the heels turn in and lunge side to side. So bend your right knee, bend your left knee, go as wide with your feet as you can before you start bending side to side to really stretch those inner thighs. Good, come back to the middle at some point. Take another deep breath in and out. Drop your chest. And hands to the hips. Inhale, rise up. Good. We will take it into the standing forward position. So step to the front of your mat, mountain pose. Legs together, arms to the sides. That's a good time if some of you want to do vinyasas. I'm not going to instruct that separately. Otherwise, mountain pose. Think of rooting down through your feet, but then there's an upward energy through your legs, your spine, the crown of your head. Great. Now step your right foot back, warrior one. Arms float up again, triceps rotate forward, and breathe. So if you're not challenged in your warrior one, take a longer stance. That right heel is turned in and the right knee is very strong and straight. So firm your thigh muscles into the thigh bone as your left knee bends fairly deeply, maybe to a 90-degree angle. 2 more breaths. Ebb and flow. Now hands come through the heart and open into warrior two. Bring them wide, like there's energy shooting out of your fingertips. Left knee is deeply bent, right leg is straight. Warrior two pose, and turn your gaze over the left fingers. Good, hands to the hips. Again, turn on your feet so you're in a wide-legged stance, and this time we'll take it to goddess pose. So your feet are wide apart, turn your feet out again like we did earlier, but this time squat down. So it's almost like a sumo squat, and take your hands at the heart center. Try, so your feet, I'll just get seated, so you're standing like this in a standing position, right? Feet are about 45-degree out, hands to heart. Shoulders over hips, and squeeze your glutes. Make sure the knees don't collapse inward. Good, let's take it into side bend. Arms out with the bend in the elbows. And now lower the right forearm down to the right thigh. Stretch your left arm over the left ear. Your knees are bent as deeply as is comfortable, so work your legs here. Good, come back to the middle. Inhale. No rush, left foot, left side, reach right arm over right ear. Good, come back to center, hands to heart. You're still in that goddess squat. Option one, you just hold that. Option two, 12 times, let's squat lower and come back. So never straighten your legs, we're just doing pulses. That's about 2, lower the hips, 3, bring them up, 4, 5, 6, keep your glutes strong, 7, shoulders over hips, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Excellent. Straighten your legs. And we'll go right into triangle. So straightening the legs, feet parallel for a moment. Now turn your right foot out at 90 degree, left heel turns back a little. Arms out. So your legs are literally in a triangle position. They're both, straight. Reach forward like someone's pulling you on your right hand, and then lower that right hand down to the ankle. If you have a block, you can set your hands on the block. In your triangle, maybe turn your gaze up to the left thumb and breathe. Think of, just connect your body here and think of drawing your right sitting bone toward the left heel behind you. Just a very subtle movement. Good, bring it up, arms are parallel. Take the foot position into the opposite way. Left foot out, right foot is neutral, and the heel turns back a bit. Reach through your left hand beyond your foot, and then left hand down, right arm up. The whole time feel like you're really spreading from the center of your heart out through your fingertips. Turn your gaze up to the right thumb if possible. It's good for the neck to challenge that big rotation. And here too, whatever you can do here, sink left sitting bone, draws back toward your back heel. Good. Inhale, come up and release your arms down. Step your feet together and just kind of take a moment to rotate your ankles. Maybe rotate the legs from the hips. Just reset. Good. I'd like us to go into, we'll finish strong here, into a lunge. So step to the front of your mat again, facing the small side. And if any of this is too much, you just drop your back knee here. Okay, so take your hands to the hips. Feet are hip width apart, and now step your left foot back. This time, not a warrior one, so your left heel is lifted. Only the ball of your foot is grounded. If you feel super wobbly here, go near a wall. Do this near a wall or a chair. So you're in a long lunge, and if available, raise your arms up. Take one more breath into your rib cage, your chest, your belly. And here it goes. Take your arms out to the sides. Lean forward like you're really pulling your chest forward and come into airplane pose. So what that means is your back foot, your left foot, is lifting completely off the floor, and you're trying to balance on only the right leg. You have your arms here as the airplane wings to help you balance. The right knee can micro bend here. It usually helps to protect the knee a little. You could still be near that wall. One more breath, reaching from the heart to your fingertips, from the navel to your back toes. Good. Now step the left foot next to the right foot and relax in mountain pose. Deep breath. Separate the feet hip width, standing at the front of your mat, hands to hips, and step your right foot back into that lunge. Squaring the hips, so make sure the right hip isn't dragged back. What you can think of is rotating the right hip forward a bit, which will bring your left hip back, only if you have that imbalance. Good. Arms sweep up, take 2 breaths here. Feel the strength in your body. Maybe your mind might not feel that strong. Or maybe it's the opposite way. Maybe your body doesn't feel very strong, but your mind does. So use what you got today. Arms out to the sides. Lean forward. Make sure you don't drop your chest. Keep your chest open and come into airplane pose as we discussed. And even if there's a very wobbly energy to this pose, find the rhythm of your breath here. Calm your body down. Can we stay calm and strong in the face of challenge and maybe adversity? One more breath. Good. Step your feet together, drop your arms to the sides, and maybe shake it out one more time. Good. Mountain pose. And at this point, please, let's take it down into a hero pose. So I have my bolster here. You can have your block. What you do is you kneel down, roll your calves out with your hands, and have a seat on your prop. Some of you won't need the prop, depending on how your knees feel. You might even lay flat on the belly and just bend your knees and grab the feet behind you. Just exercise to stretch. And I know from teaching all the classes at St. Andrews that some of you lean or even lie back. Do your thing here and breathe. The only thing I can tell you is if you can lie back but your knees are lifted, you probably need to prop up your upper back on something like a bolster or a block. You want your knees down. More advanced, squeeze your knees toward each other. Excellent. Let's bring it back up and take the hands forward. Lift your bum and knees to downward facing dog. Try it out very slowly. Maybe stay for a whole breath with one heel down, the opposite knee bent a little. Switch. Excellent. We will take it into our different animal, into our pigeon. So from your down dog, sweep your right leg way up, and then hook the foot forward behind your left wrist as much as you can. Pigeon pose. Block, think so you might be pretty high. Option, put a block under your right hip here. Option 2, slide as best as you can slide on a sticky mat. Slide yourself back so your hips go back and down and then lower to your forearms. About 3 more breaths. Good. Some of you will stay down, others will come up onto the hands, bend the left knee and grab the ankle. Couple breaths when done. Good. And let's take it back into downward facing dog. Now, if you just want to go into pigeon on the second side, left knee forward, do that. If you want to be challenged a little bit here, take it forward into plank. Pivot your heels to the left. Your choice, stagger or stack your feet. And take the right arm up into side plank. Now, if you feel like, whoa, that's a bit much, but you want to try side plank, here's what you do. Your left knee, I'll just show it on the right so you can see. Your left knee is down, your right foot is behind you, and that's your supported side plank. One more breath. And switch to the other side plank. Good, back to plank, back to down dog, strong yogis, and then bring your left knee forward into your pigeon. Some of you will grab the back ankle, so go ahead and do that. Couple more breaths. All right, and carefully let's come out of that into a seated position. Sit with your feet together, heels pulled in toward your groin. And just butterfly your knees up and down a few times. The idea is to become aware of how much you're gripping at the groin. And if you are, and you just have to in order to sit upward, up, sit up straight, take your block and sit on it so your hips are higher than your knees. Good, now just let your knees drop and begin to hinge forward. Back up. Extend your legs forward, shake them out. Bring them a little bit apart, maybe mat width apart. Left foot to right inner side. This time the right knee is straight. As straight as you can handle. You can always use your belt over the right foot. Arms sweep up, inhale. Chest turns over the right foot and fold forward. So still in that forward bend, raise your left arm to the ceiling, turn your chest toward that left thumb and breathe. Good, left hand releases down. And then inhale, both arms reach to the ceiling. Exhale, release them down and switch to the other leg here. Right heel in, left leg straight. Arms float up effortlessly. Inhale, turn chest to left foot, and exhale, fold in. From here, stay in that forward bend, just rise up through the right arm, turn your chest right. Release that right hand down again to meet the left hand. And both arms float up, inhale. Release your hands down. Good. We will take it onto the floor. Have your block near you, please. Let's get into the inner thighs in the lying down position. So moving, and I'll set up my slant again here. You can lie flat. Just take a breath or two. Good now. Step your feet on the mat, lift your hips a little and put the block underneath your hips. The rest of your body is on the floor, or at least the rest of your back. Now extend your legs up to the ceiling. Flex your feet so your hips are elevated on that block, and take your legs wide apart. Hold on to the inner thighs if you want with your hands. You can circle the ankles a few times. This might be nice decompression of your low back, and also because you're opening that L5, S1 area. Good, pause. Bring your legs together. You're still straight up in the air, and then lower the right leg down so it's hovering an inch or two off the ground. Important is this whole movement of your right leg happens in your hip joint, so don't start arching your back. Okay, you brace your core. If you're not sure, place your hands on your stomach and actually feel the muscles brace around your belly. And now bring that right leg up and lower the left leg down. Firming the quads, keeping that brace, that corset around your waist so we don't harm the spine. And if you want, do a few more switches. So as one leg comes up, the other goes down. Remember, the slower, the harder this is. But if you're still going back and forth, take your time. Otherwise, step your feet on the mat now. Remember, your block is still under your hips, and slide your legs straight like mine. So now we're raised at the hips. So what that means, we get a nice stretch through maybe the belly and the front hip flexors here. And if you want more, this might be enough for some of you. If you want more, slide your right foot a little to the right and cross your left ankle on the right ankle. You raise your arms overhead. Make sure when you raise your arms overhead, there's no arching happening in the back. Keep your spine heavy. Good, let's switch. Slide the feet off center to the left, right ankle crosses over. Nice. Release your arms down, legs back to center. And carefully step your feet up and lift up off that block. Some of you might go all the way back into a plow for a moment. Please remember to not put any weight on your neck. It's all on your shoulders and triceps. If you're done, just lie flat here with me. And take a couple breaths in Shavasana. Reconnecting. Good. Let's assume everyone's down, so lie flat. And then bring your legs in for happy baby pose. So draw your knees in toward your armpits, grab your feet. If you just cannot grab your feet, just grab your ankles. The idea here is try not to let the butt and the low back round off the floor so much. Press your sacrum toward the floor as you're in this kind of like full squat position with your legs. Good, release down, and let's come back into Shavasana. Take a deep, slow breath. And I would like you to take your version of a fish pose. So lying flat, work your hands either under your butt or close to your butt. Press yourself up on your elbows and then let your head drop back. Remember we talked about this, if this bothers your neck, put a block underneath the head. You kind of have to aim a little so that the back of your head is resting on that block, but you get to really push your chest up and stretch the front shoulders, the front ribs, and the chest. You want to do some fish movements with your mouth. Just open and close your jaw wide. And after that, take as long as you like, but after that, let's lie down on the mat. Back into flat lying and take a deep breath again. Final spinal twist. I suggest one, you can do whichever one you want. So lying down, take your right foot and step it gently onto your left thigh, close by the knee. Now take your left hand and draw the knee across your body to the left. Turn your head right. Ideally, which doesn't have to be your scenario today, ideally your right shoulder is on the floor or close to the floor. And if you feel like, oh, this is kind of weird on my back, slide your hips off center to the right. So you're almost sitting only on your left butt cheek, and then it might feel much freer in your spine. 2 more breaths. All right, when you're done, do the other side. Again, shifting off center left this time, or just stay at center. Draw your left knee across to the right and look left. When you're ready, come back. Release out of the twist and bend both knees into your chest. Hug them in, rock side to side. And release into Shavasana. Feet may be mat width apart so that you can naturally feel your inner thighs release and your feet rolling out. Arms even wider than the feet so the shoulders get a chance to relax. Soften all the muscles around your neck and between the shoulder blades. Drawing several more deep breaths. Imagine where the air goes. So if you want, think of a violet light that you're drawing in, and that light spreads throughout the body on the inhale. The exhales just relax you more. Now just gently release your breath. Just let it breathe naturally. Bring your attention to the center of your forehead, your center of wisdom and insight. And without straining your forehead muscles or your eyes, just focus on a spot right in the center of your forehead. Let everything else fall away for a moment. Deepen your next breath. Wiggle your fingers and toes. And stretch your arms overhead. Release your arms down, bend your knees in, and roll over to one side. Come up to a seated position with an attitude of gratitude for whatever you're grateful for right now. Take your hands together at the heart center. Namaste.